Welcome back to City on a Hill Gaming, a tabletop RPG actual play podcast. Let's meet the team.
Hi, I'm Grant, and I'm the GM.
Hi, I'm Peter, and I'm playing Faramond Bahar, Human Paladin.
Hi, I'm Daniel, and I'm playing Ansel, the Inquisitive Rogue.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and I am playing Ruach, the Air Genasi Shepherd.
Hi, I'm Ben. I'm playing Reepsy Piven, the Satyr Druid.
Hi, I'm William. I'm playing Myastin Zarbrax. I am a Dragonborn wizard.
We hope you enjoy our show. Welcome back to City on a Hill Gaming. Hi. You'll just have to stay to the end to hear all of that nonsense, because most of it's going to get left in. I am Ryan. Joining me as always, Grant.
Hey.
Peter.
Hello.
Daniel.
Huh?
And Ben.
Hi-ho.
William is recovering from surgery, but hopefully he'll be back next time.
Indeed, and we wish him well.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Unexpected surgery is never fun.
Indeed.
So, yeah, Grant, go nuts.
Yeah. Before I do that, William, I've been in the ER like twice in the past 3 weeks. I hear you, buddy. So it sucks. Okay, so we left off in a similarly desperate-ish situation / location. You all had cleared out sort of a secret oasis, gotten rid of a venom-infested troll that was polluting that underground oasis, saved some myconids in their colony, befriended, shall we say, an underground ring of non-fighters, and yeah, call back, wait till the end of the show for that one. And
okay,
I was proud of it.
I'm proud of you.
And then moved north to the Great Crossroads Oasis, where you found something a little unexpected. You knew or suspected that there was a gray giant hostel there, what you assume is some sort of hotel / market / something to purchase wares and stay at and hydrate and all that sort of thing. Just get your refreshments. They're certainly offered at a price. And what you really didn't expect was the surprisingly large encampment around what was once the Great Crossroads Oasis. There are broken down wagons all over the place, and there's probably 5 or 6 dozen people that you can see as you crest a dune and look out over this would-be town out here in the desert.
That is deeply unexpected.
Supply and demand,
so
indeed.
The hostel, or we were kind of anticipating, I did not call the array of broken down wagons.
Indeed. Some stuff that's obvious as you first take a look here. These are not exactly ruined, but it looks like the wagons have sort of been disassembled to a certain degree. They're, and maybe broken down is the wrong word, maybe more repurposed. It looks like they sort of have been made a little more permanent in a lot of cases. They're not really going anywhere. The other thing you notice is that they tend to be sort of clustered. It's not one continuous mass. They're sort of like little clusters around this building, groupings of maybe 6 or 8 here, 7, maybe even up to 12 there, that sort of thing. So it's less like one town and maybe more like a couple of camps very close,
Like they've set
around
them up,
this central figure.
like flea market stands, or like they just cut the wheels off them, slapped roofs on them, and they live here now.
It's not quite that bad, but it kind of looks more like, well, we clearly aren't going anywhere for a bit. We need to repurpose some of this into slightly sturdier shelter that can hold up against sandstorms.
So people are living in their wagons outside the hostel.
Yes. The hostel, it should be noted, it looks like a nice 2-story inn. About that size.
How many?
It definitely
rooms do
does
I
not
think it
have
would
room. I mean, it's exactly what you would expect in a town, maybe like Sajaroon, where you left.
Your average fantasy inn in a
Your average
moderate-sized
fantasy
town.
inn, 12 to 14. Well, 12 to 14 rooms is maybe underselling it. Say room for probably 30 people at most.
Okay, and they have 20-ish times that.
Not 20-ish times that. Remember, your caravan that you traveled with had like 1 to 2 people per wagon.
Oh, okay.
Right. But you would guess there's maybe 60 odd people out here, just, standing and counting. Maybe there's more inside.
Does everyone seem
Interesting.
calm?
You're really too far away to tell. You're
Okay.
just you're watching people from a ridge at this point.
Okay.
And the other thing to note is that you can tell that these are kind of clustered almost defensively. There's
From each other or from like circled wagons?
all around, it sort of feels like. They're like
Okay.
like I said, they're like little camps around that are all sort of individual and oddly isolated seeming, despite their proximity to each other and to this gray giant
Like
hospital with its
coexisting but not mingling.
yeah, they're big cheery waving giant figure painted on the side.
I'm so-
All right.
Okay. Okay, sure, why not?
All right,
I guess yeah.
Yeah.
Pheromon just kind of glares. He
Uh-huh.
doesn't even say anything. He just kind of glares.
There's lots of glaring in this episode. Lots of glaring.
Yeah. I mean, the sun's really bright.
Not that kind of glaring.
I mean, the sun is probably the least
That's
of the
also
glaring
true.
that's going on. It's
Pheromon,
probably the least glaring for that
Oh.
matter.
With
yeah,
glares.
Pheromon, do me something else real quick.
All right.
I'd like you to roll me a perception check.
All right. I'm actually pretty good at this. Give me just a
You
moment
sure
here.
are. You always are. I know what characters you make.
Vigilant ones.
17?
Yep.
Cool. There you see up a little bit of the geography here. The Great Crossroads Oasis is at a sort of Y-shaped fork in the roads here, right? To the northwest, the Shard Pass Trail leads deep into the mountains, the Raskian Mountains. Another leg of the High Wastes Road leads east-northeast, kind of, to another oasis, or, well, what was previously another oasis, through there's some mountains, but it's kind of a smaller spur of that Araskian range. And then it eventually heads up that way, but not before passing through some more desert. Ends up really becoming the Ojor High Road, going further that direction.
Okay.
So you've got hills to the north, some kind of sharp hills and approaching mountains, kind of to your, really at this point, to y'all's west. Up in the hills behind the oasis where you're looking, because you're kind of looking at it from the south, you see what you are almost certain is a pair of people watching this from very far away, kind of on the other side of where you are. It's hard to spot, but
I will
they're
nudge my nearest companion and point this out to them just so I'm not the only one looking at this.
Is this watching the hostel or watching us watching the hostel?
hard to say. It's, again, the distance is such that it's almost impossible to tell.
But we know they're up there
two
attentively
people up
watching
there.
something.
Certainly kind of their attention seems to be down this way.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Are we in the same hexagonal area as the actual oasis now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Boop.
Huh. Time of day.
let's see. I believe I said. I don't remember what I said last time. It's been a couple of months.
Fair.
I
I can't remember how far out we were.
we stayed to kind of help clean up and repair the oasis, and it's supposedly took a couple days. So I'm assuming that we would have left whenever is convenient to travel, like
The next morning or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're probably here late morning.
Okay, so not super far out. Okay.
No, it was only 8 miles at most from where you were.
To the other one. Okay. Okay. All right, lads. Do we proceed down, or do we want to watch the Watchers for a minute?
I don't know what information that we could use that it would give us to just watch them. So I think we should head down, and as much as it pains me to say it, and Ansel's just gonna look down at this dusty manila folder that is filled with a bunch of handwritten complaints. As much as it pains me to say this, I think we should talk to the people around the hostel first before I go nail these up on the wall.
You're gonna do a Martin Luther with those?
We're gonna do a Martin Luther next. Okay.
Absolutely. I'm gonna. Yeah, I have so many complaints, and they're all gonna see them.
Their Yelp reviews are gonna be.
This is the absolutely the right actual play to do a Martin Luther on, but
I mean, he's not
just
wrong. Oh.
I mean, I will be here for that when that happens. Like,
We take exception to your business practices, and we will let the Better Business Bureau know that.
But first, we should talk to the people here. Maybe they also have complaints. We could start a petition
And file all our complaints simultaneously.
Yeah.
For there will be complaints. Okay. All right. I guess the closest cluster to us, is it a big cluster, little cluster, medium cluster?
hang on. Just upon hearing this, Faramond will look at Ansel, blink once or twice, and then just say, I'm actually quite proud of you, and then walk away.
He does take the best approach, I suppose.
Ansel does not know what to do with this information. I don't think he's ever heard this before.
Faramond doesn't know what to do with this information, so fair.
We're learning things. Okay.
Right. So to answer your question, they're all kind of
Medium-ish size.
medium-ish. There's no one massive camp.
Okay. Closest, I guess, if no one has an objection.
Yeah,
Nope.
that sounds fine to me.
All right. I guess we head down then.
Cool.
Yeah,
As you head
I don't
down
have a better plan.
head down the trail and kind of walk over to that closest camp, there's two people with spears step out, and not exactly with hostility, but warily point them at you, and the first words out of their mouth are, "So which company are you with?"
Company?
I look at geez, it has been a while. Daniel, name?
Yeah, hang on. I forgot to open my notes. Scroll.
Oh no, I meant your characters.
Ansel
Ansel,
is
that
my
was it.
character.
Thank you.
That might also be in my notes.
That's also probably in the notes, presumably. Ruach turns and looks at Ansel. That's a him question.
Yes, I am with Agate Accounting and Inventory Control. I am looking for the caravan order Q34R57B, as I have been tasked with assessing the missing caravan or any damages. And you are?
Q3R. Sort of glance at each other, and then one of them shakes his head. "Doesn't sound like us. You best move on."
Yeah, of course. I can see that you're busy, but if you don't mind, what's going on here?
What does it look like? We're all stuck out here in this desert.
How long have you been at the crossroads?
Oh, I think, oh, goodness, maybe 3.5 weeks at this point. 4 weeks, something like that.
Straight through, you haven't left.
No, when everything started to sort of go wild, we found this refuge here, and then a few of our other wagons trickled in, and well, nobody's quite been able to safely make it out of here. Best thing to do is hunker down till whatever
What's
weirdness happens blows over, and then we'll see if we can make it out then.
what's keeping people here? I mean, the roads don't look to be in too bad of repair.
Oh, you've been out there much? Worst sandstorms you've ever seen? Manticore's gone wild, and I don't know, the whole world seems to be falling apart. There's times when the road literally lifts up off the ground, becomes a floating chunk of rock.
Ooh, I haven't seen that last one yet.
No, we have not seen that.
You know, dust storm.
That's new and disturbing.
Uh-huh.
Dust storms coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, that one we saw.
Yeah, that we have experienced.
Lightning, fire running across the ground.
Yeah, there's been some of that.
Yep, we saw the lightning. I don't remember the fire, but that's fine. 6 of 1.
No, I don't either, but
Whole world's falling apart. Best thing we can do here is sit close, see what we can do to, wait it out.
Fair enough. If you gentlemen have and you have nothing else, we will indeed move on. Thank you.
What
You
is
said
the,
it was what, Q3R?
Ansel.
Q3R something?
Yeah, it is Q34R57B.
No, doesn't sound like any of our orders. You best move on. Maybe Holstrom's knows something.
Which direction would he be? They be.
He gives a surly sort of chin wag toward the next encampment.
And Ben, I think you had a question.
as I say, what's the racial makeup of the camps around us?
Entirely diverse.
Okay.
But give me an insight check while you're looking around.
Insight.
Oofda.
ooh,
Get that
birds are
23.
good at that.
23.
Get that 23.
There's a similarity in some of the tattered bits of wagonry and livery and shipping crate logos and that sort of thing. All of this particular encampment seems to sort of be related to or members of or working for a particular shipping conglomerate that you know, and caravanning conglomerate that you know, have heard about. They do business all along this trail and further east, or further west, sorry.
Okay, my internet slowed during the beginning of that. I missed part of
Oh,
it.
sorry. All the livery, shipping info,
Right.
Decorations, that sort of thing, seems to indicate that most every wagon here, and maybe some of the clothing is maybe a little less obvious, but all of these folks seem to work for this particular shipping conglomerate that you know works all along this long road that runs
Right.
through the high wastes and also does business further west.
Okay.
All right. Well, they seem to be grouped by caravan. Interesting.
Logical. Ruok turns to Ansel. Ansel,
Uh-huh.
do all of the caravans for your company carry similar banners, or do you hire random caravans as needed?
Uh, well,
Are all your 18 wheelers the same, or do you lease out to whoever's willing to drive?
oh geez, don't
I don't know
uh
if that's something that you guys have, the two of you have predetermined, I guess is why I'm asking.
I haven't predetermined anything.
I don't know if there's like, if we can just go caravan to caravan looking for a logo or a specific banner pattern, or if it is just going to be some random group happen to be driving for you guys, happen to be taking out that load that day kind of thing.
actually,
That may be a Grant question instead. I don't know.
well,
No, it's a yes and question to Daniel.
Oh, okay.
excellent. Now that he's reminded me of that, and I'm assuming Reap has told everyone, I'm
Yes.
just going to look around the caravans that I see. Are there any logos that would look familiar to me?
There's several actually, because you've done business with a number of these, I assume. You are accounting and insurance. You're not necessarily like a shipping company per se, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood that part. There we go.
At least that's what I have always understood. Is that correct, or are you the accountant for a particular shipping company?
No. I am part of accounting and inventory control. So
Right.
we are hired out by third parties.
Right. Okay. So you're outsourced. I get it.
Yeah. So
So we're essentially doing retrieval for someone who works through your company but isn't actually your company.
listen, well, I mean, when you say it like that, it sounds like they sent me on a fool's errand, but they would never do something like that. Right?
I mean, I just meant it as an actual question, but sure, however you want to take it in character, that's fine. Fair enough. No, I'm sure you're. We'll find out, I guess is my answer, and so we'll find out. Hopefully not.
I like to think the stuttering there was entirely in character.
It
But
absolutely
we'll get it.
was.
It'll be fine.
All right. Well, I suppose we will we'll just move on to the next caravan.
Let's go look for some logos.
You bounce around between a couple others. There's a very similar hostility,
Basically, no matter who we go to.
kind of who you go to.
Okay. They're
But
defensive. that's
eventually,
reasonable.
Everybody's grumpy here.
Yeah.
grumpy does not begin to factor into it. They are wary. And as you watch, there is nobody going between these encampments.
We're the only ones traveling group to group.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Everybody-
definitely coexisting, no mingling.
Yes. You see a few people going in and out of the gray hostel, but business back and forth? No.
And
And the
Did
guards
we
they're
ever-
posting are not just looking outside.
Did these caravans seem to still be transporting things?
Most
Like,
of
the goods they were going to move are still in the carts?
good question.
I should have asked that sooner. Sorry, that just occurred to me. Whether or not these are caravans in active transport, or these are caravans who just haven't gotten home yet.
That's a
Because that would
really-
explain the defensiveness.
You know what? I'm going to let you roll an intelligence check. I want Ansel to roll the same check, but at advantage.
Okay.
Did it do it? Oh, it did it twice.
Yep.
That would be a 4 and a 2, Grant.
There are crates. I mean,
Look at
yeah,
them
they got their
crates.
stuff.
There are
Uh,
crates. That's what matters. Okay. And also what matters is Daniel's natural 20.
Yeah, I got a 24.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's really good. Even accounting for the kind of losses that you would perhaps expect given the current travel conditions. And they said stuff about manticores and sandstorms.
Great, real bad things.
Could
Okay.
account for more loss.
I'm tabulating in a
The
book.
inventory, you see there are a lot of empty crates. There's a lot of missing inventory. And you actually see people carrying, like counting out good. You actually catch sight of somebody counting out goods and then packing them up and taking them towards the hostel.
I see.
More glaring from
Uh-huh.
Pharamond.
Lots and lots of glaring.
As you're doing this, the fourth encampment you come to, somebody, one of the guards kind of goes, Q34R. I think that might have been one of ours. Who did you say you were? You said you were with
Agate accounting and inventory control.
Jirax?
Uh-oh.
Hey, Jirax, get out here. And a half-elven fellow who looks entirely too tired stumbles out of a tent and freezes when he sees a group of people at the entrance, puts his hand rather casually on a sword that he's got at his hip and strolls over to you all. What is it? We got people looking for a caravan that I think sounds like one of ours, but I don't know. I don't remember all the inventory numbers. That was your business. All right. Who are you?
Yes. My name is Ansel. I'm with Agate Accounting and Inventory Control. I'm was tasked with finding out what happened to caravan order Q34R57B.
I'm sorry. You're with Agate? Did Kraken's daughter send an accountant out into this mess to find a
Not
caravan?
alone.
Yeah, they let me have an expense account.
He must hate your guts.
The jury's out.
We'll see what we'll see what the verdict is, I suppose, after you've been out here a few more days. Yeah, Q34. I think that might have been one of ours. I know we worked with Agate. All right, let them pass. Think they're one of ours. Watch them. You know the drill. Everybody sort of nods and stands aside.
I have a question. Since
Shoot.
Pharamond is from a culture that is known well for its hospitality and is dressed as such, can he make any kind of like inroads into getting through this hostility a little bit?
Give me an insight check. Give me a lot of those.
Gladly. 13, kind of a middling one.
People are putting their hands on their weapons more when they see you.
Him specifically?
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting, because my hand hasn't been anywhere near mine.
You're right. It's a mystery. At least for a little bit.
Well.
Until y'all are done. Maybe like the next hour. We'll see.
I have lots of comments, questions, and concerns.
Okay, so just to clarify, it's Pharamond specifically that's getting that kind of reception, or it's our whole group?
I mean, the whole group is not exactly trusted. And then they see you and they tense up more.
It's a compliment.
That-
I think you broke up a little bit there.
I said that's odd because I should be fairly non-threatening seeming. I will convey this to the rest of the group with kind of obvious concern. Like,
Then we tread lightly.
I seem to be drawing extra suspicion out here for some reason.
Oh.
You can tell that Pharamond's not happy about this at all. Like, this is something that's kind of like,
Actively
for lack of a better
bothers
term,
you.
kind of wounded him emotionally a little bit.
So I I don't know if you'll remember this, but I'm Ansel's just gonna flip back in his journal and say, in Samarat, there were rumors about uh nomadic tribes in the desert that had taken to raiding. Maybe they're mistaking you for one of them.
Mm.
I mean, it's possible, but my particular tribe has never been especially like involved in that kind of conduct.
But they are just rumors.
When's the last time you were home?
That's a good question. It's probably been a year and a half or so.
How things gone of lately seems to have changed people.
I still can't imagine my home community turning into raiders in a year and a half. Things would have to be levels of dire that even the current situation doesn't indicate.
Well,
Do I-
we'll chalk that up on our to-do list.
Do
Like
I know?
like I said, he's like clearly disturbed by this. Like this is really bothering Pharamond.
Does Fairmont look like someone who could be from one of any number of tribes, and maybe only one tribe is causing problems, or does Fairmont dress like he's expressly from one very specific tribe, and the fact that he's
I think-
getting looks based on that is more concerning to me.
I think probably more the former. Like I don't think that the tribes have like massively different ways of dressing and stuff, but if you're from one of them, that's probably less apparent to you than it would be to an outsider. Like the differences stand out more if you grew up in that culture. So
But to the random people we're traveling past, you're dressed like some group of them, and that's enough to be something, presumably.
yeah, probably.
Okay.
But once again, like be that as it may, that's not something that is going to sit well with Pharamond being who he is, you know?
Sure.
Of course. That
While all this is happening, Reap pulls out the dulcimer and just starts idly strumming Imagine,
oh, good grief.
just in the background.
Yeah, it seems better.
Just some
You hear a
Some wander music.
you hear a competing lyre playing Sarah McLaughlin's "Building a Mystery" rolling over one of the wagon walls.
Oh
I don't
gosh.
know that song, and I also don't like mysteries anymore.
Oh, we're gonna have dueling dulcimers, aren't we?
Oh. We could do a lot worse than that, actually. I'd be okay with that.
Okay, now I genuinely want to hear dueling banjos, but like with a harpsichord. So
Yeah.
Why harpsichord?
because it's the most dissonant string instrument I could think of.
Why not harpsichord, Daniel?
I have several reasons why not.
You would know better than me, so that's fair.
Okay, so
Ryan was not a band kid in high school. Ryan was a band kid groupie in high school.
so what where am I going? Where am I being led to for this caravan order?
You guys are all sort of being led back into Jarax's tent.
All right.
Tent is perhaps the word. You can see that what appears to have been a crate or maybe two crates of fairly sturdy fleeces has been turned into a sort of pavilion-like tent spread out over a wagon and out a bit to sort of create a sort of working area / shelter. It doesn't generally completely close, but it's a good enough working area if they have to.
Oh, okay. All right. Yep.
It's
that's-
delightfully multicolored.
Yep. Two crates of fleeces damaged. I'm just gonna write that down.
And he digs around in a travel chest and comes up with a kind of grubby looking pack of papers. Says, "Hold on, I've got the manifest in here. Give me just a moment." Q3. Nope. Q2. Nope. Nope. Q43. That's not it. Q34R. Yeah, this is the only Q34R I've got. This the one? Holds it out.
Well, I'll look over the order.
Uh, yeah, looks right.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's what I was looking for. I have several questions. Listen, it's nothing personal. I just have to have something to fill into the box. So, we're all just trying to do our jobs here. What is happening right now? Like, I can't help but notice.
Into the world, near as I can tell.
I'm well, there's parts of that are kind of hard to argue with, but anyway, that's beside the point. There's a lot of inventory missing, and I've seen some people with certain kinds of goods go into the hostel. Why are they doing that?
Well, it seems fairly obvious. They're trading for supplies. It's the only supplier we've got. We were fortunate to, I don't know, wash up here, you
Okay,
might say.
hold on just a sec. Where is the hostel getting the supplies that it's trading for? Because as far as I can tell, this whole area is isolated and nobody should have anything to like supply anything with.
You know, turns out they've got
The anger in Pheromone's voice is obvious at this point. Like,
oh, you know, they got they're, as near as I can tell, they're spending all their resources making food for everybody here, you know, selling it at
but
understandable
what
rates,
resources?
and then they've got all the water, so
Okay, but there are a lot of caravans, and you would think if all of these groups would share their resources, they could travel together out of the desert. There's enough of you. Surely, if you work together, you could.
yeah, we tried that at first. 4 people ended up shanked in the back in the night.
Wait, somebody attacked the people who tried to work together?
No, somebody attacked the poor idiots who trusted that another group of people might actually help you. Everybody's watching out for their own here. You'll learn
And
that
look-
pretty quickly.
Yeah, and look where
this
it's gotten
situation
you.
is not going to be allowed to stand. That was to nobody in particular, but it was out loud.
Uh-huh. Yep. That's yeah. Okay. Well, I just gonna tack a few more things on this.
We
in this
need to go into
manila
that building.
I don't know
Pheromone
that
is
that's
pointing
smart.
towards the hostel now.
All right.
Yeah.
If you didn't happen to bring any coin out here, did you? That'll last you for, I don't know, some amount of time. They'll take coin, and then any barter you've got, they'll make reasonable rates for, I suppose. Again, given the circumstances.
We'll be
So
fine.
It's a seller's market.
So, so selling water and food stuffs is a way to make money out here, is what you're saying.
Well, only makes sense, I suppose. You've got
So-
it.
No, here's the part that doesn't make sense. They seem to have an infinite supply of this stuff, but somehow they've also got a situation where nobody trusts each other and nobody can leave. That doesn't
Right.
sound even a little bit suspicious to you, because it sounds glaringly suspicious to me.
Well, I'm sure
So
it
it-
sounds.
Pheromone's not even
suspicious.
trying to hide it at this point. Like, he's just
Tell you what.
outraged.
Would a
take
competitor
it up.
affect them?
You know what? If you want to go head to
Interesting.
head with shall we say, the proprietors, you're welcome to try it.
Maybe let's have to say, let's talk. Might even get to see a good view of what the inside of the hostel looks like.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I can create water and I have good berries. We could at least cause them some economic discomfort.
Okay, sorry, Ansel. To clarify, now that we figured out where your stuff is from the caravan, is all you needed to know where it was, or are we supposed to bring it back with us?
Well, ideally we would be able to recover some of it, and then, that way we don't have to write off everything. But I think I'm just gonna count this one as a total loss, and let's figure out the paperwork after after we check out this hostel.
I do like the implied universality of ideally we don't have to write off everything. As if, well, world was destroyed. That's a pretty significant mark against our P&L this month.
We'll see what happens.
But you know what? Real estate, very cheap right now.
It's a somewhat unstable market, but
yeah, as in the ground itself is unstable.
Yeah. I have lots of comments, concerns, questions. Okay, we'll go inside now. Yeah, that seems fun.
Cool. The path, by the time you get to the Gray Hostel itself, is fairly well trodden. You did see, sort of down by the roadway, one of those big monolithic signs that you'd seen previously and vandalized, shall we say?
Yep, no, that's accurate. We vandalized it.
Reallocated?
Demolished.
There might be questions of property damage.
Updated the aesthetics of.
Sure.
I think we have questions about property damage.
These are certainly sentences that all could apply in certain configurations.
These are all questions.
Those are all words that could possibly go together, just maybe not the way we've said them.
That's right.
Okay, sure.
Up close, the Gray Hostel itself, you can see is, and William will actually be the one who notices this first. Miaston. He'll point out there is no seam in the stonework of the building. So up close, Miaston's actually the first one who notices this. The Grey Giant Hostel's construction appears to all be seamless stone. Those of you familiar with magic know that this is entirely possible with magic. Somewhat high-ish, middling to high-level magic. This is not the kind of thing that your, Joe random first-level wizard or adept, more likely, can do without significant expenditures of ritual magic. So if this has popped up at the speed that you suspect it has, well, that's interesting.
So this is a single.
It's
a
contiguous.
Single structure.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a single structure.
It's all one Lego block.
Yes.
Okay.
You could say that.
This is prefab. Okay.
From what you know of how magic works, it was probably several castings, probably lots of castings of spells.
Okay.
Shape it properly. So it's not like somebody has create a 2-story building spell.
That's good, because that would be alarming.
Yeah, it would be.
Yes. I mean, there's magic like that, but it doesn't last forever, right?
Right. Exactly. Sure. Like, permanently create 2-story building would be alarming.
Yes, exactly. So odds are that's how it was created. This It certainly seems to be made of the same stone that it is sitting on, with some little gaps here and there for what you would guess is heat expansion and contraction.
So
So,
do
somebody knows what they're doing.
So do I feel like someone completed multiple spells and a building appeared, or do I feel like they literally pulled this up out of the ground and formed it together in pieces, all out of just earth that was already here?
Oh, it's definitely like a stone shape kind of thing.
Okay. This isn't like create building. This is shape.
Again, nobody's got
ground.
nobody has a scroll of create 2-story, 30-person capacity building.
2-bedroom, 3 bathrooms.
No, those are just called blueprints.
2-car garage, etc. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
you know, like there's no spell with a material component of a real estate listing, right? That's what we're saying here.
Create screened-in porch. Okay.
If
Good.
somebody
Plain
does
ship
have
is
one of
in the
those,
rock dimension.
please get in touch, because it turns out the material components for create screened-in porch is real expensive.
Like it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, okay. So
that
this is
certainly
all...
seems to be the case. Up close, you can tell that the painted on, very jolly looking giant in colorful clothing, although gray in color himself, very cartoonish sort of looking, that stretches up the wall and is painted as waving and greeting everybody, somewhat disconcertingly. It's suffered perhaps a little bit of paint damage in the sandstorms that have been hitting lately, and it looks like nobody's quite been out to repaint it, but that's fine. You pass 2 different people traveling back, heading back towards camps, holding tightly stoppered containers of water. At least you assume it's water from the sloshing and the weight that they're obviously struggling with.
And so as a review, we already know from the ritual that we interrupted that they basically have been able to make a jar of ever-flowing water, something like that.
Decanter of endless water is the D&D
Yeah.
magic item, yeah.
But it's like
Yes.
an imperfect one. Like it has to be sent back and perfected or whatever.
Yeah, there's a process that's involved in this case, and there is the small bit of it where the material component for this one is an
An
oasis.
entire oasis, right?
Materials, maybe not the right word, sort of the thaumaturgical component.
So they showed up here, drained the entire oasis, built this building, and are just pouring people water out of what used to be the oasis, but is now a small flask.
It's
Oh,
Yeah, that sounds
I mean,
about
you'll have to
right.
go in at some
Okay.
point and probably confirm that.
Minor
but-
details.
I'm thinking kind of like a plane shifted water pipe.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No,
They've
we're
tapped
at
the well.
a ewer. We're just let's keep it down to a vessel that
You
We-
guys are
uh,
good vessels.
We,
yeah,
we can take and repossess.
I was going to say that might be forcefully portable.
Right.
Forcefully portable.
So are we going in?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Yes,
I have a lot of
let's-
concerns, but whatever. Let's go.
Cool. The door is pretty well sealed against the elements, which is nice. One advantage of shaping things with magical precision is things are made flush, which is kind of nice, especially in sandstorm environments. So while the area right in front of the door is swept pretty clean, at least there's only a little bit of scraping on sand as you open it, and inside is a kind of lowish ceilinged, maybe not that lowish ceiling, but it kind of feels lowish ceilinged room with various supplies laid out on shelves available for prices marked, kind of what looks like a sort of general store sort of thing, mostly trail rations and camping supplies. This really exactly what you would expect at a way station in the middle of the desert.
Reap's gonna walk over to one of the rations and just kind of look at it, flip around a bit, and hey, how much is this?
Um,
To anybody who's paying attention.
and one of the you could have sworn it was a wall for a moment. A huge hulking figure behind the counter turns around and growls at you. Price should be marked on the shelf. I believe it's, let's see, what is that? What brand is that? There's a very large horned, it's not quite an ogre. Oh, that's an Oni. It's a very magical type of giant.
Oh, okay.
Working with somewhat surprising dexterity behind the counter. I think that if that's the one I think it is, that should be 4 silver per package.
Okay. So I just put it back down. Keep looking.
How much are rations of this type normally,
But-
Grant?
Oh, not that much.
Okay.
That's-
Is
No.
this like
But
is this a significant increase in price or a medium increase in price?
It's pretty significant.
Like it's normally 1 silver and this is 4 times as much, or it's normally 3 and it's now 4.
maybe
Sorry,
maybe
say it again.
doubling in price, maybe
Doubling,
maybe
okay.
doubling in price, something like that. Then again, this is a nicely packaged set of rations ready to go on the road, so maybe there's some markup for that. Hard to say, but you definitely wouldn't be paying 4 silver for 1 unit of rations in normal times. But as Jirax said out there in his encampment, given the circumstances,
so we're definitely price gouging.
Yeah.
I mean, not. Yeah, there's
Mm-hmm.
there's an economic term for it that I can't remember because I haven't had economics in years. But
Sure.
there is a limit at which you can charge a price because people will change their behaviors.
yeah,
Oh,
yes, it's
yeah.
called elasticity.
Yeah, apparently double the price on rations is probably at the upper limit of that elasticity.
Right.
You can only go so far. You can only take it so far before people won't do it
Right.
anymore.
Having said that, the Oni behind the counter is currently counting through what appears to be a collection of plates. It's like dishware, essentially, that's coming out of a crate. Working with somebody in front of the counter saying, well, yes, all right, this should be okay.
I have a
And tallying up figures with somebody waiting with, again, a ewer of water and a collection of rations.
I have a question. Just kind of like based on what we see in here and based on what we saw out in the camp, what percentage of the cargo that came into here do we think has wound up in this place at this point?
You know, Ansel would be really the one to tell you. It's a significant percentage. I would feel bad as a GM giving you like a solid number on this necessarily, just because it's getting like super specific, right?
Right, but I mean, like, you know, most of it. I mean, like,
I think you can safely say that this is not a sustainable business model
Yeah,
for them, for the
yeah, that's
people
kind of where I was going.
buying supplies.
yeah.
And at what point does this run out? Like, you know, what happens when the people outside lose things that the people in here, you know, want? Like,
Well, now I can't tell you that as, out of character.
no, but that's something that I'll like bring up with my companions. Is like, it really like looking around, I'm guessing we see a lot of stuff that probably was originally in the wagons, right?
You're quite certain that the crate of silverware, for example, or silver plate that is being counted out, for example, is exactly that.
Sure, but I mean,
Yeah.
like, other furnishings or, just various stuff around. Like
Ah, no.
the goods from the
No, it is
caravan are being
not.
put to use.
No.
So they're not
So
going
it's
back
just
to sale. They're
disappearing
being,
someplace.
yeah.
It's
There's not shelves
I'm
with
gonna
like
give you I'm
random
gonna give
caravan
you
stuff.
no, there isn't. And that is peculiar because if people are bartering this stuff, it's not out
It's
for
being sent
resale.
somewhere else.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a mental image here, and this is out of character, and I apologize, but it's the only one that really kind of comes to mind for me. Imagine the sort of like low ceilinged, cramped, kind of weird, eclectic selection of supplies you have at like a Dollar General.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the sort of atmosphere in here. But instead of the one harried, yelled at cashier doing their best, it's an Oni.
Hmm.
Who no one's going to yell at because Oni are, I'm assuming, fairly enormous based on the picture I looked at.
Well, I mean, her horns are definitely scraping the ceiling.
Oh, good. Right.
And
That's
then-
lovely.
Scraping is perhaps not the right word, but there's not a lot of clearance.
It's like me in a school bus.
There you go.
So just by kind of just sitting back and watching a little bit, watching her do a couple of transactions, the barter goods that are coming in are just kind of disappearing behind the counter.
Yeah, essentially kind of being taken into a back room.
Does there seem to be enough back room for several caravans worth of goods here, though?
That's an excellent question. I say being taken back. Another Oni actually comes out of a kind of a back door and carts the stuff back there.
Two Oni.
But does it seem like there's enough space for it all back there?
Well, let's find
Just
out.
given the size of the building.
Can I actually make a? Can I try to peek in the back?
I actually let me try something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Ruach walks to the counter, and Daniel, what I want you to do, Ruach puts a hand on your shoulder and kind of gives you a look, like, give me a second. So just
Okay.
kind of do your thing after I start this. Grant, can I stand in such a way to where the Oni is looking at me, and there's like an angle where Daniel can go past the Oni behind the Oni? Based on how the counters, like, just from like a range of vision kind of thing.
You have to give me some kind of check here. You're doing
I
something
intend on
to
starting
interfere.
a conversation. Yeah.
Oh, well, starting a conversation is not difficult.
I intend on
Yeah.
starting a conversation to ask some questions that are going to be rather aggressive. But I'm gonna try and be subtle about it. So
Yeah, I've got a few of my own here. I'll tag team with you.
we came from the south and headed up this way, and we passed the thing out front, the talking thing. Does that have a name?
Oh, our billboard.
That thing, yeah, we passed one of those, but there wasn't all this. Are there more of all this elsewhere?
Oh,
I assumed
sure.
there would be one there, but then nothing ever came. We were there for a little bit, and it
Well,
didn't seem to happen.
We've got one further north on the Ojor High Road, and there's another one about 2 days travel up Shard Pass Trail, though it's a real shame that nobody's really been able to make it out lately.
Oh, out from here that direction.
Yes.
Why does no one go back further south? The pass isn't that bad.
Really? You just arrived?
Yes, we've
You know,
been traveling
everybody's-
for days, and it's very doable.
The fellow who's been sort of bartering and trading with the Oni shopkeeper, for lack of a better word,
Sure.
kind of pipes up. You know, it always kind of seems that way, doesn't it? You know, it's fine once, you know, well, not fine, but almost barely passable. You settle in here and then just seems so much worse trying to get out, doesn't it?
Interesting. So are there going to be more of these back to the south? Back like near Five Fangs or something?
We're certainly planning on expanding. I believe we've got expansions slated for the Southern Bluff Oasis, the Shishin Oasis, Marwa Oasis, a few others. You know,
Interesting.
as with any business, we'll have to sort of see where franchising opportunities take us.
Oh, that's so sorry, out of character. That's really upsetting. That one phrase, Grant. That you did a great job there.
I do my best.
That's really upsetting. I watch a lot of business world videos, and this is getting me good.
That means I'm doing my job.
Yep. I watch a lot of things like Company Man, where he talks about like the rise and fall of certain industries and businesses, and you're hitting all the buttons with franchising. Yep, there it is.
I work in enterprise software, okay? Trust me.
Oh, you're just nail on the head with that one.
So
that,
while
that and food
this,
theory, wow.
Sorry, do you think is this cathartic only for you? Oh no.
No, this is angering for me.
No, I'm saying it's also for me.
This is amazing.
So while this conversation is happening, I would like to see if I can just take a peek in the back room while at least one of the Oni is fairly distracted.
One of the other things too is I would like to speak to the Oni and be like, look, it looks like you folks have been set up here for a while and you're mostly sustaining your business through barter with the folks outside, yes?
Okay, we've got two conversations happening at once here, and something, and Ansel trying to sneak.
I mean,
Okay.
I can wait until like I sorry, I thought the way that play was flowing there, I had a gap now. I will wait my turn, as it were.
Oh no, it's fine. Ansel, go ahead and roll, and then we'll see what's happening while we're having this conversation.
Because I think the entire point of the conversation is just for us to cause a distraction so he can try and do this.
Oh, basically.
Yeah, 100%. To answer your question there, Peter Faramond. Sorry, you're gonna have to repeat it. ADD has just
okay. No worries. Pretty sure I've got it too. Anyway, it looks like you've mostly been sustaining your business with barter with caravans outside, yes?
Once ready coinage ran out, absolutely, yes. You know, understandable. Not everybody traveling has a limited amount of coin, and given these somewhat unusual exigent circumstances, we decided that we could barter with people to make sure that they had, you know, the supplies that they needed at reasonable rates. Seemed a fair exchange.
So why haven't most of them been able to leave? What is turning when they try and move on? What turns them back? I'm curious what awaits us further north.
I've further north. Oh, it seems even worse up there by all accounts. Manticores and elemental chaos and world falling apart, all that sort of thing, you know.
I mean, we did the second and the third ones further south already, so that's kind of whatever.
Yeah.
You know, by all accounts, and begging your pardon, of course, I'm sure you haven't been a part of this, but raids on caravans, that sort of thing, just nothing quite as it used to be. Everybody's sort of hunkered down here, and
yeah, there seems to be a lot of kind of endemic distrust at the moment.
Well, I can't speak to that. Of course, I always try and run my business as fair as possible, make it open to everybody. I like to think that this has become a sort of neutral ground among these different parties.
So if you've been trading for all of this stuff, Fairmont at this point is going to kind of check to see where Ansel is before he continues.
Okay. Give me a stealth check on that. Not simply so that you're not being obvious about your checking.
Okay.
Basically, can you do it without drawing attention to Ansel?
19, I think so.
Who's the rogue here? Why is your roll better than mine?
Ansel,
Because I know how you
he is
built
a
your
Dex again.
character.
I forget sometimes that Peter is you're more Dex based than you are.
yeah, like
yeah.
Fairmont has a strength of 10 and a Dex of 16.
Oh,
He's a
good
very
stuff.
agile paladin.
The Oni does not seem to notice your subtle glance, down the aisle as you're sort of working it into conversation.
Okay, so is Ansel kind of like headed for the back at this point, or
Ansel, where are you headed, buddy?
I'm headed to stick my head in the back room and see what there is.
Cool. You approach and realize that there's a locked. Well, you're able to sort of duck behind a sort of curtain pretty readily. We've all been in grocery stores, the little loading area,
The plastic
the
thing. Yeah.
plastic doors, the double doors that lead into the back where everything actually is.
Yes.
Mhm.
That sort of little vestibule-like area.
yes, the thing that makes people assume that every store has a massive back room full of all the treasures of civilization.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine, except you duck back there real quick, and there's not a whole lot. Don't get me wrong, there's some crates all stacked up, but definitely not more than, say, a day or two worth of crates and various different supplies. There's a couple of doors in this back hall that maybe lead into different rooms, maybe storerooms, offices, whatever, that sort of thing. And it makes some sense that there's obviously some working space back here. Notably absent is, I don't know, massive amounts of supplies.
Both to sell or to have taken in recently and need to transport somewhere else.
Yes.
I have another question for our friend when we're done. When
Yeah,
Ansel's
this
exploring
is-
has moved on.
Yeah, okay, so
There's a bathroom, employee bathroom. That's always important.
Sure. No, that's good. Employees only.
that's listen,
Notably, the doors here in this area are large. In fact, all the doors are large, which perhaps makes sense if there's an Oni trying to move around.
Sure.
yes. So Ansel has some experience because he is doing accounting and stuff, but for caravans, transport, and logistics and that sort of thing. So could he make some sort of knowing things about magical transportation of inventory roll?
Sure, give me an Arcana roll.
It was the of inventory tag there at the end that really got me.
Yeah.
Not so much the teleportation. The teleportation of inventory.
You're not trained in Arcana.
No, I just
But
fill out
with a
paperwork about it.
15, you do know, you have read a white paper or two on some theoretical discussions of magical transport of goods. The general consensus being that it's one of those technologies that's always 30 years away and has been for the past 4 centuries.
Just waiting for that next advancement in the technology.
It's that real breakthrough in teleporter circle
Uh-huh.
logistics.
The simple fact of the matter
compacting.
is that the cost, according to all reasonable thaumaturgical theory, is simply prohibitive, and oxen are cheaper at every step of the journey. Not to mention the ease of accounting for goods lost on a road as opposed to the interstitial third layer of the astral plane.
Our Grab's big box transporter 3000 doesn't have the same ROI as 3 cattle on a cart does.
Listen, if they
Yeah.
are trained to do
Fair.
work, they are oxen. That
Having
is
said that,
That's true.
um,
I had this discussion
With
with someone else the
A15,
other day.
with A15, there's always a few people who claim that miniaturized transport of smallish amounts of goods could be a whole lot cheaper if you did it through dedicated devices. That, of course, would certainly cheapen the cost. But the construction, it wouldn't hold up to any sort of competition.
What's the class? I was gonna make a joke and I can't remember the name of the class. The name of the class that builds like little turrets and stuff.
Artificer?
Artificer. I was gonna make an Elon Musk the Artificer joke there, and I couldn't remember the name of the class.
It's-
It sounds like the kind of project he'd get in on and then ultimately abandon because someone in his company told him he couldn't spend the money that way anymore.
Yeah, it's the
Google.
kind of thing that he would fund absently with,
Pocket change.
well, yeah, with family money, essentially, is kind of what it comes down to.
Okay, yeah.
so
It's like when he tried to sell flamethrowers, and then someone at the company was finally like, "You can't do that. Stop it.
that's called arms manufacturing, and
Put that down."
there are dedicated companies who have government contracts that will get very mad at you, and they have guns.
But I can do it cheaper. That doesn't matter.
They have guns.
Look, you don't want to mess with Raytheon or Halliburton, okay?
No, you
Nothing good
don't.
comes out of that.
That man, and how his mind works fascinates me.
Yeah. Lockheed Martin does not really like competition.
No, they don't, and they have better lawyers than
yes.
you do, and that's hard.
Well, it kind of sounded like a good idea when me and my buddies were talking about it, and I have money to spare to give it a shot and pay other people who are smarter than me solution. It works, kind of.
Mhm.
All right.
It's how to turn a billionaire into a millionaire.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yep.
I was like, wait, that's not what. Oh no, that
Yes,
is
it
the
is.
point.
Yeah, no.
That is what he
He did
meant.
not stutter.
Okay.
All right.
So
I think Ansel is going to. Oh gosh.
One thing you do note,
Oh yeah.
you're sort of absently trying doorknobs, that sort of thing. There's a couple offices, a couple storerooms.
Yeah.
There's 2 rooms that are locked, and the locks that they have installed are on large, heavy stone doors, and the locks are significantly sturdy.
Oh.
we've ended up in something that's half a bed and breakfast and half a Kroger, and I don't know what to do with that.
Now, Dollar General really is the model I'm going with
It's like
here.
Dollar
It's-
General, but you can spend the night. Like I
com-
don't.
No, it's-
Complete with exploitation and undercutting of prices and the whole
yeah.
shit.
No. It's a Dollar General meets Motel
It
6.
was like, it's Dollar General with a Motel 6 upstairs, which actually seems like an
Yeah.
interesting business model now that I say it out loud.
Oh gosh.
Huh.
It's
Dollar
Dollar
it's
General
truck
General with
stops.
Motel 6 upstairs is probably this is probably the first time this has ever shown up as a campaign villain in a D&D game.
Yeah,
So
you know,
well
sure.
done there,
Yeah,
Grant.
possibly, but I mean, ultimately, we're kind of talking about truck stops in a weird
I
way.
mean, he's not
Indeed.
wrong.
Yeah.
Just truck stops minus competition.
Oh gosh, though their breakfasts are so good.
They really are. Especially when they
Yeah.
have the little computer and you can order yourself. Sorry.
Pancakes the size of your plate.
It's true.
Anyway, sorry.
Okay, so I look back at the Oni. So we've sort of inadvertently finished our current job,
Ah,
and I see
well,
no reason to stay here. So let me make you a proposition. Do you need more people to bring stuff back and forth? Because clearly, I mean, you got to bring in more stuff to sell to the fine folks here. Take out the stuff you've bought from. I get it. You know, it's the business. It's what the caravans are for.
understand, of course, I can't get into
Trade secrets and such. I get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
logistical details, that sort of thing. But by and large, we're pretty good.
Okay. Okay.
Kanabo and we handle things pretty well.
Fair enough. I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do as a group next, and we've done the caravan thing before. Seemed like it wouldn't be the worst option for us.
Well, I know various different folks out there have they all work for different companies. Once things clear up, perhaps hopefully they will soon, perhaps you can sign on with them. I'm sure they're always looking for folks.
He looks her, yes.
Yes.
He looks at her very intentionally and then says one thing and then turns and leaves. We're not going to wait for that. We tend not to worry about what's outside too much. We'll be fine. And then I just walk off.
All right. So at the locked doors, can I just put my ear up? I know they're like stone, but I'm gonna try. Can I just put my ear up to see if I can hear anything going on behind them?
Just as a quick FYI, while he's doing that, Pharamond is just going to kind of like hang around, like maybe order like a drink or something, and just kind of wait and like look around thoughtfully and basically just kill time in an innocuous way until he remarks where Ansel is, and then he's got a second thing that he wants to say. But it's kind of important that Ansel be out of harm's way first. So
you said you're ordering a drink. By and large, the only drink they really have available is water.
That's fine. I'll order that and sip at it.
You're not used to paying a lot for water. You'll pay, I don't know, a couple copper, which is more than you usually pay, but it is what it is. Worth noting, the water tastes great. It's clear. Like it has that wonderful freshness of not really having a taste, right?
It's that kind of straight out of an artesian well kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And where does the water come from? Like, does it come out of like a tap or like a pitcher?
No, the Oni actually will go and get it out of a pitcher that she's got behind the counter in a, I hesitate to call it a cooler, but it's something to help kind of keep it insulated. You know, it's a little cooler. Certainly it's a lot cooler than the desert air. That's nice. It's managed to keep a little cooler than everything else in here. It's not like it's on ice, but it's cold enough to be like, oh, that's kind of nice.
It's pleasant, huh?
Yeah. So, you know, no one's like spitting in your drink. So that's something.
All right.
Like I said, I'll wait for Ansel to kind of reemerge, and then I will launch into plan B.
Fair enough. Ansel, you're listening. You don't hear any, say, convenient gurgling.
Yeah.
There is, however, an unusual vorp sound once.
Oh no.
Interesting. I will, I suppose, make a note of which door made the vorp sound. And I will take my leave. So cool. I will come out from the back.
Openly or sneaking back out?
Sneaking back out.
Okay, I'm not gonna make you roll for it. I just want to make sure that she's not gonna look up and be like, Restrooms are over there. Those are employee restroom, that kind of thing. So
I was gonna say I like the idea that he just kind of wanders out of the back aimlessly, like nothing happened.
No, I will sneak back out. If I got caught looking for the bathroom, was definitely going to be my bluff, but if I don't need it, I don't need it.
I'm just mostly upset that they actually had a bathroom, like an employees only restroom. That's where our D&D game is. The bad guys have employee. There's like a break room in the back.
Yeah.
I love it. It is very us,
excellent.
and I'm here for that. All right. So yeah,
right,
once he
so-
comes out, yeah, I guess we keep going.
Peter, that's your cue then.
Okay. Fairmont will polish off the last of the glass of water that he's drinking and kind of slide it over to get the Oni's attention. You're like, I'll take a refill on this, and also, you've been trading for a lot of stuff out there. Have you got anything interesting for sale? That was in one of these caravans, but now you've traded for, and you've got.
Depends, I suppose, on what you mean by interesting. We don't keep a lot of inventory. Understand the barter thing is sort of a not exactly. We made some provisions for it, of course, but we didn't quite expect this volume of barter. So we've got a bit of a backlog, but by and large, it all gets shipped back, and then new supplies arrive. That we don't try and maintain a large inventory.
Back where? Do you have like a central like trading hub that you folks run that we could go and browse all of this stuff from? Because obviously, if you're bartering from all these different caravans, you probably got some real interesting merchandise. That sounds like a marketplace worth frequenting.
Give me an insight check at disadvantage.
All right.
And disadvantage because you're trying to, read an Oni's expression.
17
is still pretty good. There's the briefest flinch at the mention of like a head office. Kind of, that there's a moment of like, how do I handle this? So you've clearly struck some sort of nerve.
Excellent.
I can't say that there's an open head office or anything. Understand, once it's out of my store, I don't really pay much attention to the details of it. I assume.
Wait, so you're shipping all this stuff to someplace and you don't even know where it's going?
Oh, I know where it's going, of course, but as to whether it's available for sale, what happens to it, etc., it's kind of out of my hand. Corporate.
It's got to be a major population center, right? Which city are we looking for? I'll take my chances. We're probably going there anyways, wherever it is. Get around a lot.
It's actually not. It's you could call it a family business. But I can't say a whole lot more. You understand. You wanted a refill on this?
Yeah.
Sure.
Not sure I do understand though. If you're taking all of the stuff in and it's going somewhere and you're not selling it, that doesn't like Fairmont will just, put on his very best, like deeply confused face.
I'm sure corporate finds something. The boss finds something to do with whatever those materials. We again made some initial provision for bartering, given the fact that we're on a trade route. So that was somewhat planned for. To a certain degree, everybody's got goods for sale. Provisions were made. It's not especially, like I said, it's a logistical matter and out of my hands by and large. There you go. You have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Fairmont will let the fact that this isn't a super satisfying answer kind of hang in the air a little bit, but he won't press it anymore.
There is it's not like you expect to see an Oni look nervous exactly, but there's a definite sense of, please don't ask me more questions.
All right. Well,
Yes, the revealing silence. Okay.
yeah, I
Who else was in here with me for that? Just
I think everybody.
okay.
yeah. I think, we've had a long travel. Maybe we should go retire to our wagons and see to Littlefoot. And
Yeah, you're right. It's been a long day.
yeah.
Fairmont will polish off the second water and be like, "It's really good for out here in the desert. So I can see why you charge so much for it." And then before she can even respond, just walks away.
See y'all tomorrow.
We'll see.
Sure. All right. So we'll head back to the wagons.
So what did you find out, Ansel?
First,
Once we're back, obviously.
Yeah. First, the building's made of stone, so I don't know how I'm gonna nail these grievances to it.
That's deeply unfortunate.
Yeah, I know. We're creative. I'm sure we'll think of something, but it is a pressing issue. Second, there's not a lot of inventory in the back.
I'm not super surprised to hear that.
Same.
You have any ideas why?
Well, we could ask around a little just to make sure there's not, I don't know, a supplier that shows up for them that we've forgotten to ask about. But
That is where I was going with this, yes.
yeah, I have a hunch it's something else, but
You got any idea what specifically?
no. That they might be getting some sort of magical transportation, but that's not supposed to be a thing.
Okay, well, hang on just a second here. You know the old phrase, crime doesn't pay, right?
Yeah, that's not really the saying in our industry, but yeah, go on.
I mean, it seems to be paying pretty well here, so.
Exactly. You can make a very tidy profit if you don't have any overhead. And if you are getting all of your goods for free because you have some kind of ill-gotten gains that you are, say an oasis, are able to charge for that didn't cost you anything, but is costing everybody to get from you, you can probably afford magical transportation.
Yeah, all the papers I read on it said that it's not cost efficient to be able to build some sort of transportation and to be able to do it because you can just do so many other things cheaper. But I suppose if there's nothing else that can be done.
Yeah, okay, let's think about this a little bit. I mean, not only is the oasis gone and replaced with this hostel here,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody can go anywhere. For some reason, people that would normally cooperate are turning on each other. And
caravans
everybody's
that
just
would normally move easily.
Yeah, are stranded because of all the various environmental factors. So
I want to try and leave in the morning. I want to know what happens.
yeah, so do I.
Well,
not that we necessarily need to leave, but I want to know what happens when you try to.
That would be interesting. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Hang on, let's see, do some math. It's just
The thing that has me concerned is what happens to everybody here when they don't have anything of value left?
well, there's
Because I have a feeling at that point this situation is going to escalate in an ugly way.
Well, there's generally two things that happen. One of them involves let's call it script. Generally speaking, where some sort of, loans or debts occur. And I suppose the other one, well, there was some guy that was passing out this literature, and I don't know, it was all collected pretty quickly, but I read a little bit of it. It had something to do with about the working class getting oppressed and then seizing the means of production. But I didn't really like, they took it away and then fired that guy. So I don't really know what happened after that. But
Go ahead.
No,
Does that sound like a situation that you would want to be around for when it happened?
No. We're outside, right?
Yeah. We are not in the.
We're back at our camp at this.
We're
point.
back at camp.
I walk back towards the building, Grant.
Wait.
I lean in the door and I look for the Oni. Hey, you said Shard Pass Trail has one of these?
That's my understanding. Sure.
The Oasis up the trail from here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good.
I say that's my understanding. I've never been there, but I believe that was the first one we opened. Yes.
Okay. Might head that direction tomorrow. Day or two. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, good luck to you. I hope you're safe on the road, all things considered.
Appreciate that. We made it this far. I'm sure we'll be fine.
I've heard that a few times. Trust me. Hope you're all right. If you need anything, we're right here.
You ever seen a Venom troll? That was fun.
Oh yeah, that was.
Don't recommend
wait,
it.
I'm not there. Never mind.
And then I just kind of nod and just close the door and walk away.
Troll? Venom? Yeah. You hear muttering about trying to put together Venom and Troll as you leave.
Together.
Are we just going to make a habit of saying weird things and leaving abruptly?
Uh-huh. Like, man, I hope so.
Have you ever seen a chocolate canoe? Because that was wild. What?
If we can turn that into a end of campaign motif, I'm down.
This reminds me of the noodle incident. Walks away.
I'm doing it intentionally to kind of poke at the Oni, just kind of like.
Don't poke the Oni.
I've been poking the Oni for the last hour.
Yeah. just a little just sort of stares off into the distance. Sajroon, 439, winter. I remember. Leaves. Yeah.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. Okay.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
It's just the first thing I thought of. I probably should have let that one go. Okay.
Somewhere in the background, you hear the helicopter and the opening notes to Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Revival start playing.
Yeah. So tell you what, since we're wrapping up here, give me an action that you guys want to leave on as a cliffhanger here. What's your next step?
Broadly speaking, our next step is I want to try and leave. I want to know what happens when you try and leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so I don't intend on going very far necessarily. Because I think if we can isolate one of these places, we might be able to do something with that. But I want to see what actually happens to keep people here.
Sure.
And
I don't even want to necessarily try and sneak out. I want to make a show of it.
I want to get somebody who's not me and therefore doesn't arouse as much suspicion as Pharamond currently is to ask around about like any kind of shipments for the hostel itself that come and go. I'm guessing there's nothing, but I want confirmation of that. But I also know that Pharamond has kind of got a few too many eyes on him at the moment, so I'm going to outsource that to a party member.
I will definitely ask around about that because I have a vested interest and business cards.
He does have both those things. Oh, that's accurate.
Yeah, that's Ansel.
That's Ansel. That's what we're doing here.
It is indeed.
We're the recovery unit.
Yep.
Actually, I guess we're attached to the manager of the recovery unit.
Yeah.
Assistant to the manager.
Assistant to the manager of the recovery
unit. I'm the bodyguard of the manager of the recovery unit.
All right. So yeah, I'll ask around and properly pass out or improperly pass out my business cards.
Hand them all out upside down, like just
Facing you
in
still.
defiance of all logic. Like every single one is upside down when he
No,
hands it
I
out.
just mean like make deliberate, constant eye contact as I take the business card and tuck it into their front pocket.
And then just like with the one finger, you just push it down a little bit. Yeah, good. No, I like it. Just tuck it in there. There you go. Thank you. Pleasure to meet you.
You don't lose this now.
All right. So you guys are
The
asking.
last
around.
guy who lost one of
Yes.
these regretted it.
Oh,
Yes,
jeez.
I'm asking around.
Asking around for what exactly? Sorry.
If if anyone has seen shipment deliveries come into the hostel,
Or out, for that matter.
yeah,
Also out is
in
fine.
or out, if they're actually shipping
No.
or receiving.
So the only folks who are really willing to talk to you are the folks in that encampment that you found, Jirax's encampment. And I picked a terrible name that I came up with off the top of my head because every time I say Jirax it sounds like Jiraxus. And I apologize to everybody who's ever played World of Warcraft or Hearthstone.
Oh yeah.
But yes, Jirax and his crew are really the only ones willing to talk to you about this sort of thing. Everyone else is watching you warily, but they'll tell you that no, it surprised them too, but they're pretty sure that they're either storing it somewhere, maybe some large storeroom or something underground, or they're doing something with it. Certainly, they know that Oni are magical, and they've sort of written it off as it's probably weird monstrous magic.
Hashtag just Oni things.
No, probably not that.
Well,
Probably never that. Probably never that again.
but I miss that trend. I really enjoyed hashtag just insert word here things.
No, I did too. It was amusing.
It was a good time.
But I had to come down on you hard for that one.
That's reasonable. That's fine.
All right. So yeah, nothing else. And now I'm sure anyone else who refused to talk to me is still going to get a business
Getting
card.
a business card.
All right. The only last thing I would like to do, I guess, as we're all packing up for the morning, is while we're getting the caravan packed up, I would like to find in and amongst our stuff just a single masonry nail that I'm going to hold up like right before Scarlett O'Hara right before the intermission for Gone with the Wind when she finds the carrot.
No,
With
but
this-
okay.
With this, I can list my complaints.
Okay.
Sure. No, we're good.
Yep. So I suppose we can take care of that on our way out. Hey, who's really strong and can just drive this nail in one hit so we can go fast? Because I'm sure they'll hear it.
I don't know that we have somebody like that in this particular party.
Reap just looks at you, mutters a little bit, turns into a giant wolf spider, and
No.
it like sticks it to the wall with.
Oh
nothing.
no.
Okay. So you all play a game of Fantasy Ding Dong Ditch as you as screaming from every encampment ensues as a massive
Yeah.
wolf spider and a lizard dash away from the encampment northwest along the Shard Pass Trail.
Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry. Trying to get through. Sorry.
Wow, that spider has really good penmanship.
Oh my goodness.
I have to assume we're wrapping things up there tonight.
There's no
Yes.
reason to go any
There-
further.
we're not going to find a better note to end on, that's for sure.
As we ding dong ditch on the back of a giant spider after
Martin Luther ding dong ditch on the back of a giant
you know,
spider.
after ding dong ditching with what I assume is about 1/10 of Daniel's grievances posted on the wall.
I like to think it's just spooling out
Oh.
behind you as you dash.
No, we can be tracked like that. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
It'll run out eventually. At the end of the roll.
I have so many.
He doesn't have
concerns.
time to attach roll number 2.
Oh man, yeah. No, there's no reason to go any further than that. I don't know what we would even do if we did.
We need a
Neither
T-shirt
do
now.
I, so
with
this is a very
Martin
good stopping
Luther on a
point.
spider.
Excellent.
I think actually like Martin Luthered on a spider is probably your next T-shirt design.
Or at least an episode. I was gonna just go with.
I mean, even like just Martin Luther as a verb.
Yeah, listeners, if you could
just-
please draw a party fleeing on a spider with paper spooling out behind them in a panic, I'd buy that shirt.
City on
I
Hill
would
Gaming
too.
at City on Hill
I'm not
Gaming
even
at
a T-shirt
gmail.com.
guy, and yet I would buy that.
Yeah, sit-
We will make that shirt, and then we will
100%
buy
make
that shirt.
We will send you a copy of that shirt for free.
Yeah, I mean, Martin Luthering on a wolf spider seems like the kind of shirt I need that is inexplicable to anybody who looks at it.
It also
Yeah.
certainly sounds like it might be an episode title at some point.
Marvelous.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Oh no! What have we
All
done
right.
to ourselves?
Martin Luthering on a wolf spider. That needs to be a T-shirt.
Mhm.
All right. Well,
Hash-
thank you for playing, guys. This has been fun.
Hashtag just City on the Hill things. There's a
Grant
whole
is
list.
judging you through the internet.
that's
I can
okay.
I can
I'm
feel the
fine with
judgment.
that.
Do we have time for about 10 minutes of feedback real quick?
Go for it.
Cool. I'm going to do
Is
something
this
that I
on or off recording feedback?
probably on
Okay.
because I think it's interesting bonus content might
Okay.
be something that you can append. It's something useful, right?
Love it.
This is a technique that I know somebody else pioneered. I cannot give me a second and I'll look it up. But this is something that let me see if I can find it's excuse me. I think Lou Quaid is the guy who came up with this. It's called Stars and Wishes. And so what I'd like to do is just real quick go through, and I'm going to start with Ryan. Ryan, I want you to just name one thing that stood out to you as a positive in this session that you really liked. Just give me something that was like a moment of cool or something that went very well. Does not have to be me. In fact, should not all be pointed at the GM. Ideally, this should all be other players if possible.
I think you let us, and we as a group played around well with getting Ansel into the back. Like, it wasn't just the rogue didn't make a stealth check and disappear. Like, we did a thing as a group, and that was very interesting.
Okay, cool. Peter?
I mean, Martin Luthering on a wolf spider.
All right.
I know it's like, just like the I guess the more in-depth answer to that is like some of the trademark absurdity was just very on point this evening. So I enjoy that. I think that's kind of a fun feature of this particular podcast and this specific campaign.
I'm assuming
So
trademark was an intentional use of a word there, since how I feel about franchise opportunities and other business decisions that have been made in this episode.
Fair enough.
I just think I think the tone was especially good this evening, I guess, if I'm gonna make it a little bit more technical.
Awesome. Ben?
I mean, I have to go with the Ansel thing, like also like, but just also around the camp at the beginning, like going in and asking the questions.
Right.
Came up with there were some good questions asked. I was drawing complete blanks, but
What happens?
yeah, everybody else did. Like, I thought it was really good flow of the way the questions came.
Okay. Awesome. And Daniel?
Yeah, I really liked actually I really liked how I like how agitated Fairmont is getting, honestly. Like it's wonderful. Yeah, it's just like all of these things happening that are just like there's going to be a really good release, hopefully soon, some catharsis for this tension, but I love this tension buildup.
Okay.
Yeah, none of this is how it's supposed to be as far as Pheromond is concerned.
Yeah, I listen, I love when characters go through turmoil. It's wonderful. It's like candy to me.
Okay. Mine is very similar. Peter, I'm very much enjoying Pheromond's rising sense of frustration with and kind of this culmination of like, I've seen so much and it has to stop. And here we are. This has to stop. Like it's just building and building. But in particular, because I have gamed with you in the past and I've run games for you in the past, which also had you with a very frustrated character saying, this is not right. This feels very different. Pheromond is handling it in a very unique, like specific and in character way. And I feel like you're doing a really good job channeling your natural reactions, because of course, when we're playing a character, you can't fully extract yourself from the character. That's the whole point. But
Right.
you're channeling that in a very different and in character direction. And I'm really enjoying that because it feels very genuine and honest to this character. Like I feel Pheromond is coming through, not Peter.
Oh, I'm glad.
All right, so let's turn things back around. Daniel, wishes. I want you to name one thing that you want to see in the next session or two. And this can be a cool moment. This can be like, I feel like I'm not getting spotlight time for this particular aspect of my character. I want to explore something in this direction, something like that. Now, obviously, I can't promise that we're going to get to everything since I'm trying to keep it fairly tight. I'm not going to quite say railroaded, but we want to wrap this up within the next several sessions. But if I can work something in, I absolutely want to. And so go ahead. Give me one wish that you want to see here fairly soon.
Ooh. Okay. One wish is that after posting these theses, if you will, like they go around all the caravans that are stuck there, and it, instead of everyone mistrusting each other, it all just gets redirected directly at the hostel, and then the whole environment changes. I want to accidentally start a proletariat revolution.
Start proletariat revolution. Okay. I love it. Ben.
I'm a huge fan of the way we do combat, or don't, in some
Okay.
cases. So I'm always like, I'm just a big fan of the not necessarily the full action combat like episodes, but the will they won't they fight scenes.
So you want some combat, but without like a forced, all right, you have to fight kind of.
Right. I mean, kind of the way, like, very similar. I loved going back and listening to our troll episode, last episode, just because it was great that there's the way that would normally be done is it's a monster, kill it, but we figured out a chaotic way to not kill it, and I like those. For us, I like those situations.
Okay. So combat with decisions, moral choices,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Okay. Sounds good. Peter.
I mean, this is not going to be a surprising answer coming from me, but I just want the catharsis of putting this whole situation to rights.
Well, that's important because you don't want it to be I can't fix this situation.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's an actual play. It's for this thing. That's going to happen. But I still like, that is the thing that I'm most looking forward to, is it's like this whole situation is deeply broken, and I'm looking forward to finding out how we need to, what we need to do to fix it, and then going through and actually doing that and fixing it. So
Okay. And Ryan, what's a wish from you?
I want some kind of interaction, not from a distance, direct interaction if possible, with whoever we saw watching, because I want to know, and I'm starting to suspect that maybe their goals are similar to ours, and having help and friends is never a bad thing.
I forgot about them completely.
I originally assumed they were up to Oni based no good, but I'm starting to wonder if maybe we haven't inadvertently or intentionally, at DM's discretion, of course, maybe found some help. Maybe we're not the only ones who take offense. That's not the word I wanted, but umbrage. Did I make that word up? Is that right? Sure. We'll pretend that's correct.
No, offense is. We take offense to what's going on.
That's also true.
English has a plethora of synonyms. Take your pick.
Accurate. I like to think that maybe someone else takes umbrage with what's happening, and maybe that's something we can use to our advantage.
Okay, so you want to interact with them specifically. Are you specifically saying, I want to find somebody else who's on our side who's working to fix this? Or are you saying, I wonder if that is the case?
More the second one. I'm not opposed to the first one, but if it's the second one and I'm wrong, that's fine. I want to know what they're doing there instead if they're not there for the same reasons we are. Because they don't appear to be part of the encampment. And that only means a handful of things, and I wish to know which of those handfuls it means.
Yeah, find out if they are big mad at the hostel.
Yes.
If they are hostile to the hostel.
Oh no.
Oh.
Make a note. I think, new episode title.
Right. So my wish, because I'm the GM, but I'm also in this. I get to make wishes too. I'm really enjoying the interplay that we're having here in the group, because I mean the joking around is great. I do want to see what happens when there's and this is tricky because I don't want this to turn into let's argue on air and then you have the session bogged down. But I am very curious to see what happens if there is a difference of approach between party members in solving certain problems.
We've not really had that issue so far.
We haven't, and may not be appropriate.
What it would take.
And to a certain degree, it makes me wonder: do I want to push on that? Right? But I'm always. We have this very lighthearted sort of tone, and we can do it without it being a lighthearted thing. But I'd like it to be, I think there's a genuine disagreement between party members here. How do we resolve that? Because that's always an interesting sort of thing. Not like we're not saying, hey, let's turn this into PvP kind of, gaming. And again, some of this is because I've been playing a lot of Powered by the Apocalypse kind of stuff, and it's very much a game of drama, interaction between characters. I'll have to tell you guys about Space Worm versus Moonicorn at some point. It's great.
But I mean, okay, just to kind of play off of that a little bit, like we've had plenty of that in our Saturday group. Like the colony game had all kinds of like differences of opinion and stuff, and those characters were extremely loyal friends of each other.
Right, and I'm not saying it's a loyalty thing. I want to make sure that it doesn't bog down for the podcast. That's the big thing.
You want to do a disagreement, but you want us to still be us when we do it.
Yeah, and I'm fine with it also being a little bit writer's roomy, where we say, okay, guys, let's step back. If there's a disagreement, how do we want it to play out? Right? I'm cool stepping back and saying, all right, let's talk as players about how we want our characters to move. That's fine, but I would be curious, and I can't even promise that it's going to come up. But I'm super interested in that. And I think my other more specific one is Ben. I know you had a rough night tonight. It happens. I really want to see how, like, what the bin way of handling some of these problems is. Because Pharamond has often and Ruach have often been our like people problem solvers. I want to know what the bin way of solving a resource problem or a personnel problem, as it were. Like, all right, people are running out of supplies. They're buying food at price gouging rates. how are you fixing this? Like, is when if all you have is a wolf spider, everything looks like a door, or like what are we?
Well, I mean, I was.
Boy, that's a mangled analogy if ever I've heard one.
I will say, depending on how the owning conversation was going, I was, if we were planning on getting stuck and stick around, I was definitely going to start producing good berries en masse. And I was looking at the scalable water creation, and then just running them out of business.
And see, that's the kind of thing that I do want to see. So yeah, awesome. That's great. Okay, cool. So yeah, stars and wishes. It's a real simple, like, let's get some positive feedback. Let's get not negative feedback, but direction kind of system. Super quick, easy way to wrap up a session and get some useful guidance for me and for other players as well. So that's great. Cool. Thank you guys. I appreciate your time sticking around for that. That's helpful.
We may have to bring that back in the future.
I really like it. It's a very simple thing. I put a link in the Discord for the original article about it.
What would probably be good for this, just because, we record infrequently, throw it in the Discord and pin it so we can double check that stuff before next session.
Yeah, I'll jot it down. I've got the wishes written down.
Okay.
Sweet.
Cool.
All right.
Okay.
Well, that's it for me.
Yeah, I guess that's where we'll call it into our episode.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Great. Thank you again, folks. This was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks
Good
everyone
session.
for listening. I hope you have a blessed day. Thanks for listening to City on the Hill Gaming. For more information, you can find us online at cityonthehillgaming.com, email us at cityonthehillgaming@gmail.com, or find us on Twitter at cityonthehillgame. For more information on saving the game, you can find Peter, Grant, and Jenny at stgcast.org or at Saving the Game on Twitter. Thanks, and have a blessed day. Thanks as always to our Patreon backers, Andrew, Christina, Ashley, Joanne, Tony, Ryan, and Sir Lord Epicname. And Brian. Thank you guys. We'll start sound check with Daniel.
Oh, okay. Yes, this is my sound check, and this is my sound. I don't have anything today.
All right, I'll go next. From Secret Lair, Daniel, is it Johannes Voss?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Johannes, thank you. The new treatment of Carpet of Flowers, which I really want, not because I like the card, but just because the art is fantastic. 1 green mana for an enchantment. At the beginning of each of your main phases, if you haven't added mana with this ability this turn, you may add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of islands target opponent controls, excuse me. I don't know that it's particularly useful to me, but boy is that art good.
Good in Legacy.
Also good in Legacy, and I believe in Canadian Highlander.
Yes. You mean Vintage?
Or also that, yes.
Singleton Vintage? Yes.
Singleton Vintage, yes, also there.
It goes in at least one deck.
And I wouldn't be opposed to putting it in a CEDH deck, given the opportunity.
True.
Peter.
Okay, I got something a little different this time. Circuit Rider. Prerequisites: 3 levels in Cleric, 3 levels in Ranger. While itinerant priests are not uncommon in many fantasy worlds, you have taken it to another level, developing the skill necessary to reach even the most remote communities with the word of your god. You gain the following benefits. The range of your Channel Divinity abilities is doubled while you are in your favored terrain. You may spend a use of Channel Divinity to enhance your primeval awareness. If you do, you learn the rough number, a few, 1 to 10, many, 10 to 20, dozens, 20 to 50, a host, 50 to 100, or an army, 100 plus, and general direction, compass rose point, of up to 3 types of creature you select from the types indicated in the primeval awareness ability, and the range is doubled. You gain proficiency with the herbalism kit if you do not already possess it. That is a feat that I wrote and have self-published. I have a product called Multiclass Feats up on DriveThru RPG right now. 6 possible multi-class combinations from 5th edition. So if that
Say-
sounds interesting, go find it.
say the number if possible again. Your audio skipped a little.
66. There are
66,
12
sweet
classes,
mercy.
so there are 66 2-class combinations.
Okay. This is something you will likely see in the future on our show because we, as a podcast, now have access to that book. Because Drive Through
Indeed.
RPG is excellent. So be prepared for some of that. There are some very interesting. Ooh. Oh no, we're level 1 for that game. Never mind. I say I'll try that in my new play-by-post, but we're level 1. That doesn't really do me any good, does it? Okay, that leaves Ben.
Blessing of the Forge. At first level, you gain the ability to imbue magic into weapon or armor. At the end of a long rest, you can touch one non-magical item or object that is a suit of armor or simple or martial weapon. Until the end of your next long rest or until you die, the object becomes magic item, granting a +1 bonus to AC if it's armor and a +1 bonus attack to damage rolls and attacks and damage rolls if it's a weapon.
I know that feat. Bertrand had that class ability. So that's a Forge Cleric power.
Yes, it is.
Oh, very nice. And Grant.
Well, since we're reading gaming stuff, real name Raphael, alignment anarchist, attributes IQ 12, ME 13, MA 11, PS 20, PP 18, PE 20, PB 5, speed 15, age 15, sex male, weight 150 pounds, height 4 feet 6 inches, hit points 34, AR 12, and SDC 151. Human features: hands full, biped full, speech full, looks none. Powers: natural body armor, AR 12, SDC 60. Hold breath 10 minutes. Psionics none. Level of experience 6th level. Level of education lifelong martial arts training. Scholastic bonus none. Occupation crime fighter. Scholastic skills none. Weapon proficiencies: psi, paired weapons, size, blade, chain, blunt, nunchucks, shuriken. And I could read off percentages on physical skills and training and espionage skills and special training and blah, 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 blah. But it's Palladium and it's going to take a while. So yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's what that was. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
this is
it's
the,
like, it's like, what
this
is
is the
Turtle
original
Raphael.
Palladium Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness game.
Oh, quite no, because
Yeah.
I can see the book in on your webcam. Quite literally, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay,
Yeah,
Yes.
no, you had me at Raphael and size.
is this
Oh, yeah.
this a licensed product?
That was the Palladium licensed RPG, which started Palladium had a fantasy game, and then somehow they landed. Really Palladium Fantasy was a D&D heartbreaker. It's like, well, we have more stats and alignments that are a little different and more numbers and more rules, and then somehow they landed the TMNT license.
I'm impressed.
And I don't believe they have it anymore, but they've kind of ridden the success of that to still being around to this day.
Which is really about the best you can say for Palladium.
Yeah, at least as far as rules go.
I mean, at the very least, I'm intrigued. But
I will refer you to Mega Dumbcast.
what other properties do they have the license for?
BattleTech.
Ooh.
Huh. Wait,
I
that's
got me
a
excited.
Today, at least.
BattleTech is what's his face, right? Richard Garfield.
No, it was
Or am I-
Robotech.
oh, that's
Robotech
Robotech,
is
thank you.
FASA.
Robotech. Yeah, BattleTech was FASA. Robotech was the anime that was like a couple different animes mushed together and translated into English as one of the earliest animes released in the US.
Yeah, that's and also called Macross.
Yeah, Macross.
But they're
I
not all
forget
the same
full title of it.
anime.
No, it was a couple
No.
different ones that were smashed together to make one weird supercut anime that had like a couple different separate storylines going on.
And
It's
completely
very
different
strange.
characters and slightly unusual and different art styles.
I think the art was similar enough that it passed.
Yeah, it's
This was late 80s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Americans in the 80s just obsessed with anything giant robot Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
In the 80s, now, whichever.
Well, at least now we do it right.
Yeah.
We didn't
And
know any better in the 80s.
And of course, Palladium has a bunch of its other, product lines, riffs After the Bomb, Ninjas and Super Spies, Beyond the Supernatural, Heroes Unlimited, stuff like that. Again, all basically the same hyper crunchy, weird system.
Oh wait, why would they need BattleTech if FASA already had that? Like, it
Yeah.
already is a game.
Yeah, no, sorry, Robotech. Yeah,
Oh, Robotech. Okay, I was like, wait a minute.
yeah. They
FASA
had
did the
Palladium
thing.
had Robotech. They don't
Okay.
have those anymore.
Okay.
Fascinating.
I mean, listen, the history of RPG books in the 80s and 90s was very strange. You know, White Wolf ended
Yeah.
up with the Street Fighter license and did a couple of books on that.
Wait, what?
And it's
And it
It's
actually
very
was
good.
kind of cool.
it was very
Yeah.
good.
White Wolf Street
It's
Fighter.
very
okay.
hard to find these days.
Street Fighter, the storytelling game.
Yeah, we'll talk about that off mics because it was decent.
Okay, we need to find some PDFs or something, and this is going to get played on the show at some point.
I'm down.
Yeah, that's
Um,
it was, like Grant said, it was actually quite legit. That was, but we're gonna
yeah,
be on this digression forever if
Yeah.
we don't bail out
Yeah, we're
now.
gonna-
I'm very
we're
intrigued.
gonna-
Okay.
We're gonna bail out now, but dibs on Zangief.
Wait, which one's? Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine as long as I get Guile or E Honda.
As long as I get E Honda or who's the Brazilian dude?
Blanca.
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 Yeah, as long as I get.
Bear in mind,
E-Honda or
there's
Blanca.
plenty of these main characters are ridiculously high level in the
That's
White
true.
Wolf game. You're the goal is the way it's presented is you're just sort of like in the junior leagues of like literally street fighting.
Oh, actual street fighting. Okay.
Yeah. And it's your job to, go do fights.
Go do
In
the
this-
street fights.
Massively popular, massively profitable underground street fighting ring that everybody knows about, but is somehow still illegal and edgy.
Sure, like you do.
And also Shadowloo is also definitely there. Don't worry about it.
So I can get us the paperback of the 1995 main book release for just $150 on Amazon.
That's
Oh
right.
boy.
If it helps, Mega Dumbcast, which I love because I'm a huge Chris Newton fan. But Mega Dumbcast did a whole season on the Secrets of Shadowloo supplement for the Street Fighter role playing game. So
Did a
Very
whole
cool.
season on it? That's amazing.
well, the conceit of Mega Dumbcast is he goes through a role playing game book 1 page per day and finds the dumbest thing on each page.
Oh, okay. It's a mere $75 plus shipping if we go to eBay. All right, let's go.
The fact that it's that expensive should tell you how good it is, though.
Oh, yeah.
I'm either intrigued or concerned or both.
This is not in the $5 grab bag mystery pack at your local game store. Let's say that.
No, apparently free RPG. This
Yeah.
is not a free RPG day book. Okay.
No, this is not. Oh God, can we get this off the shelf?
Okay.
This
got
is a
it.
legitimate collector item. If somebody sells one of these to Noble Knight, they're like, "Get the acid-proof bag right now!" Like,
Get me the pack. Okay.